Swagu, could you play a little matchmaker for me? What do you think would be the better marriage? Would it be Belichick and the Cowboys, opposites attract, or Harbaugh and Chargers, maybe both a little Hollywood? What do you think?
Yeah, I think Harbaugh and Chargers for me. Dallas is always about how much, and Stephen A. knows this. We were sitting on set when Mike McCarthy was hired in Dallas. It's all about how much of the reins will Jerry Jones give away when it comes to making personnel decisions. We watched the Dallas Cowboys spend the entire season playing without a linebacker. It ended up biting them in every loss. So the general manager makes those type of decisions and moves. But when I look at the Los Angeles Chargers, and I think from a team building aspect, I think about a quarterback that's already in place where Jim Harbaugh, really his expertise lies as far as maybe getting Justin Herbert to a level where this team actually win games. Now, don't get me wrong. Bill Belichick is a good fit in Los Angeles as well. I'm just thinking about longevity. How long is Bill Belichick going to coach? I think the Los Angeles Chargers with Jim Harbaugh needs to have not only longevity, but build a winning culture. And he's done it every place he's been. So I think Harbaugh and the Chargers would be a better marriage.
Yeah, I'll say two things here. I think the issue with Dallas is the owner more than it is the coach. I mean, Jerry Jones sucks all the oxygen out of the room. He should go away. He should not be involved. He should hire a GM because he's never going to win. But I'll also say this to be fair. Stevie and Swagu, you would agree. If I asked you to rank the top 10 coaches in the league, McCarthy would not be one of the top 10. He's not better than Tomlin. He's not better than Harbaugh. He's not better than Andy Reid. He's not better than Belichick. He's not better than LaFleur. He's not better than the top 10 coach. Shanahan. So these are the Dallas Cowboys, where they're the biggest franchise in American sport. Maybe the Yankees, but they're the biggest franchise in American sport, and doesn't have a top 10 coach. So how could the biggest franchise in American sport worth, what is it worth? You just said $9 billion? How in the world could he not have a top 10 coach? He doesn't have a top 10 coach. And I'm not saying it's all McCarthy's fault.
You preaching.
But this is ridiculous. So you got to bring Belichick in there.
Preaching.
Because Belichick is the best coach in the history of the NFL outside of Lombardi. You got to bring him in there. So you got the best coach available who might be the best coach in the history of the National Football League, and you're not going to keep him when you can't win a playoff game? You're not going to go after him? That's ridiculous. And as far as the whole thing with Harbaugh is concerned, listen, the owner never spends any money. It's a lousy market. They're a renter to the Rams. They should be in San Diego. Having said all that, it's Herbert. He is so good, I think. Harbaugh's great with the quarterbacks. He's won at every level. I think you hit it right on the head. So to me, Stevie, you're next. Harbaugh with the Chargers. Swagu nailed it. And I don't know what Jones is waiting for. I mean, geez, you got the best coach in the world sitting out there wanting to coach, and he's going to sit there and think about it? That is absolutely absurd. Those are my 2 points. Go ahead.
First of all, I don't think I don't classify either as a better scenario. I think Harbaugh is perfect for the Chargers. I think Belichick is perfect for the Dallas Cowboys. When I think about Harbaugh being an individual that he's from the Bay Area and coached San Francisco after he had coached at Stanford, right? He played at Michigan and then coached at Michigan. So familiarity breeds, success for him. And I think that if you follow along those lines, if you're the Chargers, I think it's a necessary hire. You interviewed him this week. I don't know how you let him out of the building without an offer personally, because it's one of those situations where, in the market of Los Angeles, there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of other options for your entertainment and your enjoyment. You don't have to go and support the Chargers. Now, SoFi Stadium is a big-time habitat. Let me tell you that right now. I've been there on several occasions. I love that stadium. And they show up to support the Chargers in the arena, but I'm talking about the city, the vibe. You don't hear people talk about the Chargers the way you hear them talking about the Rams. Certainly not the way they talk about the Lakers or the Dodgers. And so knowing that you moved from San Diego to Los Angeles, you need a splash at head coach. Here's what we must concede. If you're the Chargers, from an organizational perspective, you have to let go of your GM too, because he hired 3 coaches over his 10 or 11-year period and didn't have much success. And so you got to bring somebody on board that has a name, that has gravitas, that has the ability to magnetize a fan base and draw them to the organization. That's Harbaugh. We must concede that's no longer Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is maybe the greatest coach who ever lived. and he's certainly the greatest coach of the modern era. But he's also the guy who forced out Tom Brady, convinced Kraft it was going to be okay, that Brady was done, turns around, Tom Brady wins without him, and he nosedives over a period of 4 years. Not only in terms of not picking the right personnel, because he only picked 2 All-Pros, a kicker and a punter, by the way, over the last decade, but also after forcing Tom Brady out and having a guy like Mac Jones, he turns around and essentially ruins this guy's career, or at the very least the next couple of seasons, because he brings in Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as offensive coordinators. That combined with his evaluation shows he no longer has any business making personnel decisions. But that's also what makes him perfect for Dallas. Because if you're Jerry Jones, you're not going to give up the power. You want the power to pick the players. You want the power to pick and assemble the roster along with Stephen Jones. Well, guess what? You have an incredibly potent argument to make against Bill Belichick that that's the last thing he needs to be doing. He needs to focus on the players that are given to him and maxing out their potential. There's no other organization, any organization that would try to make that argument against Bill Belichick would win. But there's no organization that Bill Belichick should be more receptive to than the Dallas Cowboys, because you already have enough talent on the squad to contend for a Super Bowl championship. If they had better coaching, okay, this past Sunday, it would have been different. And so if you're Jerry Jones, it's important to recognize that, yes, you have to, Jerry Jones, be perfectly fine with being the president and the GM, but not the coach. Stay the hell out of the way of the coach, because we know you got no business questioning Bill Belichick when it comes to that. Bill Belichick, you focus on coaching, because we know you've got no business demanding power upstairs in terms of picking the roster.
Bill Belichick has done an awful job offensively, bringing in the amount of talent that you need to win in today's football, and also expanding an offense and changing philosophically of what you need to be offensively. We all can understand that the proof is in the pudding is on the field. Defensively is where I would think it would be most advantageous for you to hire him as a head coach, because a culture that he could create within the locker room based on Jerry not being not interfering too much, and you would hope he would do that with a person with Bill Belichick's type of cachet. But that side of the ball needs some personnel upgrades, which is what you trust Bill Belichick to do, because that's never been a question if he can bring guys in defensively. When it gets to Harbaugh, though, and it gets to the Los Angeles Chargers, you are exactly right. It's cachet, but more importantly, it's about team building with a young quarterback. And we've seen him reach the mountaintop, even though he didn't win a Super Bowl. We've seen him in this situation before have a tremendous amount of success. We are thinking Bill can calm Dallas, which is my argument that as long as Jerry Jones is making the decisions about personnel, I don't care who the coach is, they will not calm Dallas. And don't forget, I was there with Bill Parcells. And if Bill Parcells couldn't have 100% control, I don't know if we thinking that Bill Belichick just going to walk in with his resume to do that. If it's anybody, it should be Bill Belichick. I'm just not sure if Jerry is willing to relent.
Remember, guys, when Bill Belichick arrived, he had the resume and, more importantly, the cachet at that particular moment in time to push Jerry in terms of of having more control. Bill Belichick, I'm saying Bill Belichick has lost that luster. Bill Belichick, the coach, there's nothing to question. We know he's brilliant. Bill Belichick, the executive, the GM, the guy that's picking the players, he has to shut the hell up and stand down. His resume has been tarnished. He is in no position to make any demands about power beyond coaching. And that's exactly the ideal position for Jerry Jones to be in if you want Bill Belichick to come on board.
I understand what you're saying about the construction of the delegation of power between Jerry Jones being the general manager and picking the players. But what I'm saying is that's also a problem. Bill Belichick has his issues with picking players. Jerry is also a problem with being a general manager as well. If we are going to sit here and say on this television, when it gets to football, that Jerry did enough to win a Super Bowl this year, we are lying to the people that's watching us. Stephen A. and Mad Dog, the Dallas Cowboys played without a linebacker in professional football and thought that they were going to go win a Super Bowl. In what other world do we think that that is going to happen if we just pay attention to the rest of the things that has happened throughout the league?
Is that Jerry or is that McCarthy? Is that Jerry or is that McCarthy?
Stephen A.
And Quinn.
Let me ask you a question. It's Jerry. Stephen A., if you're a general manager, your number one job is to identify where you're weak at in your roster and build to make that a strength. If you're good at your job, if that's what you're paying attention to, for him to go a year without doing it, they lost Leighton Vander Esch like week 5. And for you to go a year, Stephen A., how many times did we come on First Take week in and week out and talk about Dallas not being able to stop the run? How many times did we come on here and talk
about it on several occasions, but we also saw Mike McCarthy, along with Dan Quinn, along with players on the defensive side of the ball, bragging about what they thought they could do. They thought their defense was elite. I'm saying, this is what I'm saying to you, Swagu. When are we going to stop blaming and holding Jerry Jones accountable for that? Those dudes were telling us, you were telling them to shut up. You were telling them, yo, y'all, what you gonna do? Doggy was on the air saying, excuse me, Michael Parsons, you're not the second coming of Lawrence Taylor. I mean, just stop it right now. Just stop it right now. We saw DeMarcus Lawrence sitting up there talking about we gonna punch him in the mouth again and all of this other stuff. They were bragging about what? How am I blaming Jerry Jones for that? They are men. They do have these positions.
Stephen A.
They come on, man. We can't blame Jerry Jones for everything.
No, you come on. I just sat here and gave you the definition of what a general manager is supposed to do. I don't give a damn what the players are saying. I don't care about that. What I care about is a general manager, Brad Holmes in Detroit. Right? We giving him a lot of credit for it. He's done a phenomenal job. A lot of it has been done through the draft. Some of it been done via trade. Jerry Jones sat there as the general manager, the guy that makes the decision about improving your team. We've applauded Howie Roseman. Even though Philly season went bad at the end, we applauded him for making moves and improving on his team in order to try to win a Super Bowl. We applaud San Francisco for going out and get Christian McCaffrey. I listened to you talk about the Chase Young move from Washington would be one of the more important moves of the season for San Francisco. That's a team that's been to the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl in the last 5 years. Can you point to the move that Dallas made that gives you that feeling? Just tell me one move that they made that you thought put them over the top to put them in a position to win a Super Bowl.
I thought when they went out in the offseason and got Stephon Gilmore, I even heard you raving about them. And obviously Trayvon Diggs goes down. So wait a minute. You asked me a direct question. I'm saying you said you. Not just on First Take, not just on Get Up, but on NFL Live as well and on Monday Night Football with your 4 damn jobs. The fact of the matter is you were saying this defense could make some noise. Now, I understand they're lighting and you know what. And obviously you penetrate the interior, the defensive line. You get into the second layer, third layer. Obviously they soft because they're light and you know what. But they got speed and quickness. They can get to the passer. They were front runners. I was saying stuff like that. It was y'all that was giving me pushback about this defense. And so now that they don't show up, that's on Jerry.